Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. My name is Cody, and today, or tonight, whenever you are watching this video, I will be giving you my official 2024 NRL Ladder Prediction video. So we are around 45 days away until we kick off the 2024 NRL season, and with the pre-season challenge not too far away as well, just under a month away until we start the first one, which is on the 15th of February, and that is, funny enough, my birthday. So I'll be able to watch a footy game on my birthday. Isn't that exciting? But it's not my team though. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Today we are here to give you my official 2024 NRL Ladder Prediction. So from 1 to 17, who I think will finish as the wooden spoon and finish as the minor premiers of 2024. I will also give you my finals predictions and also my grand final prediction as well at the end of this video. But anyways, before we get into the video, if you're new around here, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. So turn on those bell notifications as well so you don't miss out whenever I post a new video, and we've got more exciting NRL content along the way throughout 2024. January into February as well. But anyways, before we get into the video as well, I just want to clarify, this is only going to be my personal opinion. This is where I think every team will finish and how I think, and I'll explain why as well. So I'm going to do all these teams from 17th to from last to first. Now, if your team does not make into my top 8, put it down in the comments below. I'm not going to feel sorry. I don't feel sorry if I don't put your team in my top 8. Like I said, it's only my personal opinion. If you agree or disagree with your team, comment down below and what you would suggest where your team will be finished. And this is, of course, me not being biased at all. There will be some shocking ones, there will be surprising ones, and there will be obvious ones as well. So, like I said, this is my personal opinion. Keep it in the comments. If your team does not make the top 8, please do not go at me about it. This is only my personal opinion. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. And coming in as wooden spooners, coming in 17th, it's going to be a different team. This time, it's not going to be the Tigers doing a three-peat. The team I'm going to get the wooden spoon for 2024 is the Sir George Illawarra Dragons. Now, the Dragons have been having a lot of drama in the off-season for the last 2 seasons now, especially with certain player that carries the team, and that is Ben Hunt. I mean, obviously, he's been pretty much carrying the team for the last two seasons, and the way they were last year was shocking. Their boards, don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and they've only signed not really good players. The players that got signed, which such as Hame Sele, Kyle Flanagan, Tom Hosenyuth, and Corey Allen, they're pretty much the only signings they've got. And other than Hame Sele, which they do need somewhere in the forward pack, the back line is okay, but where are you going to play your players is the next question. But other than that, yeah, with the drama off the field with the Dragons, I don't think they're going to do well again in 2024 for this year. I mean, I put them as the wooden spoons for last year, and they were only 1 win off from getting the wooden spoon. So, sorry Dragons fans, but I don't see your team doing well at all. I mean, the back line is confusing. I mean, where are you going to put Flanagan as well? You've also got the new coach in Shane Flanagan. Now, yes, he had prior success with the Cronulla Sharks, and they made the finals, the 2016 final as well, the grand final. But with the mess with the Dragons boards and that behind the scenes, I don't see the Dragons improving at all in 2024, and I think they have recruited poorly in this off-season. Sorry, Dragons fans, but I'm going to be giving you the wooden spoon. Dragons to come 17th. Now, coming in at 16th, this is a team who have been starting to get a bit better. They'll get better over the years. They are under the new coach of legend in the name of Benji Marshall. Obviously, I am talking about the West Tigers, who are currently the back-to-back wooden spooners. Now, I don't see them finishing last. I mean, they've recruited good, but obviously it's not enough to prove that they are a top 8 team. I reckon they'll still finish in the bottom 4. I mean, this will be, if they don't make the top 8, this will be the 13th consecutive season they have not made the top 8 since 2011. Now, obviously, the players they have lost, the big one in Luke Brooks going to Manly Sea Eagles, I think that's honestly the best thing they've done. Now, obviously, Luke Brooks has been there for 10 seasons with the Tigers, or 10 years rather, and I think it's actually good that he's gone. Also, the board members from the Tigers, I think a few weeks ago, have finally been sacked, so which is good. They got new board members, and hopefully the club is going into the correct direction. I mean, they've been struggling for so many years. I mean, they've gone through so many coaches. They sacked Tim Sheens towards the end of last year for whatever reason, and yeah, I mean, for recruitment as well, other than they've got the Fanny brothers from Manly, Jaden Sullivan from the Dragons, Aiden Caesar from the Rhinos, and now they've got Justin Olam from the Storm, which that's a great pickup because he wasn't going to do anything at Melbourne. So the back line is awesome, but you also who are you going to put in your halves? There's going to be 2 new halves combinations with Luke Brooks gone and Brendan Wakeman gone to Blacktown Workers or something. Yeah, it's going to be interesting who's going to be the halves partner combinations. I mean, obviously Aiden Caesar used to play in the NRL, but I reckon he'll be in the half, and I believe Jaden Sullivan will get a first chance in the halves at either 5, 8 or 7. I reckon Aiden Caesar at 6 and Jaden Sullivan at 7, or the other way around, whichever works. But you've also got the Fanny brothers who came, Latu and Sumili. Sorry if I butchered that name wrong. I mean, they're very young. That one of them could be the halves, or one as a jersey 14. But other than that, I reckon they should go with Caesar and Jaden Sullivan. Justin Olam is a great pickup as well. I mean, they've lost Dane Laurie and Tommy Talau, which Tommy Talau is more of a loss because he's gone to Manly. Atasi James has gone to Manly as well. And they've also lost Sean Blaw, to the Storm, who they exchanged for Justin Olam. So I think the West Tigers won in that department as well. And they've also got Jerome Luai coming to the club from Penrith from next year onwards. Now, it'll be interesting to see how Luai will go in his final year as a Penrith player. Even though he's a grub, obviously, he's going to be a great player at the Tigers, no matter what. But overall, I think the Tigers will improve, but they're not going to do that much. They'll do a little bit better than better this year than 2023, but obviously Benji Marshall, this will be his first full season as a Tigers coach. We have to give him time, but I think the Tigers will slowly get there. Next year, they'll be a different team, I reckon. If they finish any higher than the bottom 4, I will be shocked. But Tigers, for me, will get 16th. Now we move on to 15th. This will be my first shocking / surprising one. This team finished in the top 8 last year, but this year they're going to have a downfall of a season. And this team right here, who did not win a single game 13 plus or more, only won between 1 and 12 for each game last year. The first team to do that ever, I believe, as well. Coming in 15th, I've got the Canberra Raiders. Now, you might be thinking, the Raiders made the top 8. Why would you have them in 15th? Well, obviously, the big one is Jack Whiten has gone to my boys, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. He was pretty much their best player there, and he could play anywhere in the back line well in the second row. They've picked up a couple players in Simi Salah from the Knights, KO Weeks from Manly, and they've also lost Matt Frawley, who's gone to the Rhinos, and Harley Smith-Shields to the Titans. And the thing is, what's going to be the Raiders' spine? I mean, you got Jordan Rapana, who's another year old, and I believe he's on his final year as well in the NRL. I mean, Jamal Fogarty is going to be the default halfback, sorry. And who are you going to have as your hooker? Are you going to have Zach Warford or Tom Starling? I mean, it's not going to be a good spot. And who would you have as fullback? Jordan Rapana, Xavier Savage, or who's another one? Sebastian Kris. That's the one. He played fullback to start off with. Now, obviously, I am being a bit harsh on the Raiders here, but I reckon they're going to have a downfall for the season. I mean, they lost Whiten and Jared Croker to retirement. I mean, and the spine's not going to be good. I think it's one of the more weaker spines going into 2024 season. But I don't see things doing well for Raiders. And matter of fact, if Raiders do finish in the bottom four, Ricky Stewart, who's been at the club since 2013 or 14, I believe he will get the sack if they do terrible. So I've got the Raiders coming in at 15th. Now we move on to the final team of the bottom four, who I believe will finish in 14th. This team has recruited very well. I mean, they've got like at least 10 new signings from pretty much every, and they are buying every single player, and one player returning from a ban from 4 years ago after he dealt with drugs. I'm talking about the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, the Bulldogs have recruited great. I mean, they've got like so many utility players. They've got Bronson Sherry, who returns from his ban after he didn't play for 4 years. Stephen Crichton, massive one from the Panthers. Connor Tracy, Blake Taff, James Salmon, Josh Curran from the Warriors, Drew Hutchinson, Kurt Mann. All those utilities who can play in so many positions across the back line and the forward pack. And they've also lost a couple of key players like Kyle Flanagan, who's finally gone from them, gone to the Dragons. I think the big one here is Jake Averillo, who's gone to the Dolphins. I reckon he had potential there at the Dogs, but they didn't utilise him well, so he's gone to the Dolphins. Now, Pagan Jr. has retired as he's gone to do boxing. Corey Waddell has gone to the Manly Sea Eagles, and Paul Olamoni to the Panthers, and Luke Thompson goes back to England to play for the Wigan Warriors. So, they've got pretty much half a squad gone from 2023. I mean, there's probably like only one or two players from the 2021 squad, and that's it. Shows you how many players have gone through the Bulldogs system. Now, I don't see the Dogs doing that particular well. Now, I mean, obviously, all these players came from different teams. They all have to mesh together. This will be their second year under Cameron Cruzado. I mean, obviously, they were hyped last year to make the top 8. That did not happen. They finished in 15th, and they had the worst points difference for and against. They had the worst points difference last year. Well, like a minus 330 something or something like that. But I think the back line is good. I think the forward pack is just a bit weak, but it's good. I mean, you got Max King, and I think you're going to have Joseph Tarpany or Ryan Sutton in the props. And as for back row, you're going to have Naomi Kickout and Jacob Preston. And for your lock, I think this one will be a bit tough, but I think they should go for Kurt Mann for the 13. Or if you want, you can go Fala Matarana or whatever. Even though he's been told he can go and have Kurt Mann on 14 or whatever. But Dogs have recruited well. Next year, I reckon they will do a lot better, but they need to be believed to be a threat and to improve if they want to make the top 8, but I've only got them coming in 14th for 2024. Now we move on to the teams who can make the top 8 and just miss out. But the first team here coming in 13th, who did get the bottom 4 last year, only just. Now the team I've got here, the team here I'm talking about, who pretty much has not recruited at all. This is the Gold Coast Titans I'm talking about. I reckon they will finish 13th in 2024. Now, I reckon they have recruited the worst out of all the 4 Queensland teams. The only signings they really got is King Palacia from the Broncos and Harley Smith-Shields from the Raiders, which that's not really good. And they've also lost Cruz Lemming, who was in the Super League, but he's gone back now. But other than that, they've pretty much got the same squad from last year. This year, I mean, I do see improvement. I mean, they've got Des Hasler, who's a former Canterbury Bankstown and Manly Seagulls coach. Now, don't get me wrong, Des Hasler is an excellent coach. I mean, he brought Manly 2 out of 3 premierships in 2008 and 2011. I mean, 2 out of 3 because they lost in 2007. And also Des Hasler also made 2 grand finals with the Bulldogs, one in 2012, which they lost to Melbourne, and 2014, which they lost to the Bunnies, my team, and then he went back to Manly. Obviously, with the Pride around Scarga and Pride jersey, he was let go in 2022, and Anthony Seibold took over as coach. Now, this will be interesting. I mean, Des Hasler is a great coach, but I think he's past. I mean, he doesn't really fit well in today's generation of players. I mean, could say the same with Wayne Bennett and Craig Bellamy, but they've had great success and they've been at more, but they've been with their respective clubs. They've done very well. But for the Titans, I think they will do a little bit improvement, but not much. I mean, I won't be shocked if they make the top 8, but I reckon they won't. I think between 13th and 11th, I reckon that's where they'll finish. But I reckon 13th they will make it. I mean, they've got a great forward pack in Tino, Falasa Malawi, and David Fafita. And their hooker as well, Sam Verrills. He plays well when he's not injuring. Tannen Boy as their halfback. Foreign on his final year as well, Follow Waken. And then you've got, who's going to be your fullback as well? Is it going to be Brimson? Is it going to be Jaden Campbell? Or is it going to be Keeney? I think his name is Keeney or Kellis Haas, but I think it's Keno Keeney. I reckon they should go Jaden Campbell at fullback. AJ Brimson in the centres. He's a left or right centre. And I think if they want to use Keeney as well, I think it should be a jersey 14 or somewhere on that bench. But other than that, Titans will just be the same as last year. They will finish in 13th. Alright, so now we move into 12th. Now this team is going to be another shocking one as well. And I think a lot of people will disagree with this one, and that is fine. But remember, this is my personal opinion. Coming in 12th is a team that can't really win a finals game. They haven't won a finals game like since 2018 or something like that. I'm talking about the Cronulla Sharks. Now, this one is a shock. They have made the top 8 for the last many years. They only missed out in 2021 as they finished 10th that year. But I've got Sharks coming in 12th. They've pretty much got the same squad. I mean, your halves are going to be Hines and Braden Trindle. Braden Trindle, I mean, although he's a good player, I don't think it's their best 5'8". They should go out there and buy a quality 5'8". Nico Hines is a Dally M medal winner from 2022. The Sharks did okay in 2023, but they didn't really beat any top 8 teams. They only did like it 3 or 4 times, and that's it. I mean, they can easily beat anyone outside the bottom 9, but in the bottom 9, but you can't beat anyone in the top 8. And the thing is with the Sharks, they cannot win a finals game for some reason. I'm like, why? For their last 3 finals games, they've lost. They've lost to the Cowboys by 2 points in Golden Point, 32-30 at home. Another home game, but it was at Allianz. They lost to my boys, 38-12. And then last year, sorry, they lost to the freaking Roosters, 13-12 in a piss poor game. Terrible game. I don't know what's going in Fitzgibbon's mind with the Sharks, but it's not looking good for the Sharks. I've got Sharks coming in 12th. I reckon they're going to struggle big time, even though they have an easy draw or whatever for the second year in a row. They're going to struggle big time. I've got them finishing in 12th. Now, coming in 11th place, I do have the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins' first season, I reckon, was a pass. Now, obviously, they did not make the top 8 last year as it was their first season, and they finished in 13th under Wayne Bennett, and he will be in his final year for the Dolphins. And so another coach will take over. Now, for what Bennett's done with the Dolphins, I reckon he's recruited great. I mean, Bennett's he's arguably the GOAT, the greatest coach of the greatest game of all that we call rugby league. Now they've picked up great signings. They've got Herbie Farnworth and Thomas Flegler from the Broncos and Jake Averillo from the Bulldogs. The only loss really is Herman Sasa, who's going to Hull FC over there in the Super League in the UK. But I reckon that this will be the Dolphins' second season in the NRL. I reckon they will improve, but I don't think. I mean, they've got a great back line. The halves are still dwelling, but who they're going to have in their halves? And they're going to have Sullivan and Milford, or say Katoa or Sullivan, whoever. I mean, obviously, Herbie Farnworth had excellent success. He was one of the best centres of 2023 and at the Broncos. But I reckon the Dolphins will finish in 11th. I reckon they will just miss out on the top 8. You've got to give them at least another year or two to I think they will make the top 8. But if they make the top 8 this year, they'll be excellent. But for now, I've got them in 11th. Now coming in at 10th place. This one, the next lot of ones were very tricky, as some of these teams could make the top 8, but some of them I reckon they couldn't. Coming in at 10th place is the team that just missed out on the top 8 after making the 2022 Grand Final. I've got the Parramatta Eels coming in at 10th. Now, this one could also be a surprising one as well for many of you guys, but I don't find it surprising. I mean, Eels were up and down after their 2022 NRL Grand Final loss to the Panthers, but they were only one win off making the top 8 last year, and they finished 10th. But they've pretty much got the same squad. Obviously, Dylan Brown did not play a good portion of last year, as he was stood down and suspended for like 7 or 8 games. And I mean, Clint Gutherson was pretty much their best player. I mean, he's pretty much the hero of the Eels, and also Mark Sevo, their best try scoring machine, played well last year. Forward pack, I reckon, is great. They're going to have a better 2024 as long as injuries don't plague them. But obviously they missed Regan Campbell-Gillard for a good portion of last year as well. Now, the signings they've only got is Morgan Harper, which is interesting, and also Callum Talangi, both from the Sea Eagles. Now, I reckon Talangi could probably just start on the bench, and Morgan Harper, he might get a centre position, I'm not sure. I think they'll keep Sean Russell and Bailey Simonson there. They're in the centres for now. But they finally lost Jack Murchie and Warner Blake, who's gone to St Helens and Huddersfield Giants respectively, and Andrew Davey and Josh Hodgson have retired. So the hooker could be a problem, but they've also got Joey Lussick there along with Brandon Hands. And to be honest, I think they should start Brandon Hands first and Lussick on the bench if they want to do it that way. But other than that, I reckon Eels will do a bit better, but I reckon they'll just miss out on the top 8. I won't be surprised if they do make the top 8, but I've got them finishing in 10th. Now we move on to the final position of the bottom 9. This team, I reckon, will finish in 9th place. This team only just made it into the top 8 after beating my team last year. I am talking about my arch rivals, the Sydney Scums themselves, the Sydney Roosters. I reckon they will finish in 9th and miss out at the finals in 2024. Now, you may call me biased, and that is fine, but I am being 100% unbiased here. Now, as much as despite hating the Roosters so much, the last few seasons they have made the top 8 in some way or form. Now, they always start the season off struggling, and then throughout the mid portion and end part of the season, they somehow make the top 8. But, I mean, you got an aging Tedesco, Waria Hargraves, Luke Keary, and many other players aging. And I don't think they're not as tough and fast as they once were 5 to 6 years ago. I mean, Luke Keary, who came off an ACL injury in 2021, and it's only one concussion away, and I believe he will retire if he gets concussed. I mean, Tedesco is not getting older. He's not once the superstar he was. I mean, obviously he's the captain of the New South Wales Blues, but that's another topic for another time. And I reckon he won't do as better this year like he did last year. I mean, yeah, he was up and down in 2023, but this year he'll be worse, I reckon. Now, the only 2 signings really they have is Dominic Young, which is a great pickup, a try-scoring machine, and a big blow for the Knights. And also Spencer Leniu from the Panthers, which that's a good pickup. I'm not sure where they're going to put Spencer Leniu. I think they will put him on the bench most likely, and Dom Young will obviously go in the wings, which the question is, who would you put in the centres? Would you put Suoliti in the centres and Billy Smith, or would you put Dom Young in the centres? I don't know, but we'll wait and find out, because I reckon they're not going to get rid of Tupou unless they're going to put Suoliti and Dominic Young on the wings and Billy Smith and whoever else on the other centre. Joseph Marnie, that's it. Can't believe it slipped my mind. But yes, I've got the Roosters finishing in 9th. They might be shocking, but mark my words, if this happens, I will prove to you that 2023 was just a fluke for them for making the top 8. Wait till we meet in round 3. I cannot wait. Round 9, round Allianz, here we come. Roosters finishing in 9th. Alrighty, now we move on to the top 8. These are the 8 teams I reckon they will finish from 8th to 1st and making my 2024 final series. Coming in 8th place, this team went on a lengthy winning streak, winning 10 or 11 in a row. They were considered not making the top 8 by round 15-16 last year, but they somehow made it and finished in 5th place. I've got the Newcastle Knights coming in 8th. Now, the 2 big losses they've lost is Dominic Young to the Roosters and Lachlan Fitzgibbon to the Warrington. 2 great players and a huge loss, especially for the back line there for the Knights. And they've also lost Kurt Mann, who's been at the Knights for many years, great utility. They've also lost Lachlan Miller, Simi Sasagi from Noah Brown as well. So the Knights have lost quite a lot of experience, but they've also brought in Jack Cogger from the Panthers, Will Price from Huddersfield, and Jed Cartwright from the Rabbits and Tom Jenkins from the Panthers. So I reckon the Knights will just scrape into the top 8, but will not be surprised if they don't make it. Now, I don't think they will put on the same performance they did in 2023. I mean, Ponga won the Dally M medal last year, who I think he didn't deserve the win. Certainly someone else should have, but that's in the past now, and we can't do anything about it. So I think Knights could pull it off again and make the top 8, but I mean, we've seen from the Cowboys that they made the top 4 in 2022 and didn't make the top 8 in 2023. Could the Knights do the same? I do not know. We'll just have to wait and see. Knights to finish 8th. Now we move on to the next team coming in 7th place. In 7th place, this player has finally left the Tigers. He's gone to another Sydney club. I'm talking about Luke Brooks and the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles. 7th place, I've got the Manly Sea Eagles. Now, Manly, other than Luke Brooks, they've also signed the players of Jackson Paulo from the Roosters, Atasi James and Tommy Talau from the Tigers, and Corey Waddell from the Bulldogs. I mean, Corey Waddell's got the experience. I reckon he'll show some experience and leadership in that back row there. Now, Luke Brooks is interesting. Now, he will be partnering alongside Cherry Evans, which Cherry Evans, I mean, even though he's old, he seems like he's playing 10 years younger, and he's playing at his best like he did 10 years ago. But how he pulls it out is beyond me. But this will be an interesting pairing between the two, and I think it might start off a bit rough, but as the season goes on, I reckon it will be a bit better. Now, obviously, the one we'll bring up is Tom Trbojevic. Will he be 100%? I'm not too sure. He's coming off a pectoral injury which he suffered in State of Origin Game 2, I believe, last year, and he is returning full training with the club last I checked. And they've lost a couple players as well. Sean Keppie to the Rabbits, KO Weeks to the Raiders. I mean, he brought some experience on the bench, and I don't know who they're going to use as a utility now. They got Kalma Talangi, and they lost both the Fanua brothers as well to the Tigers. So I reckon even with Manly without Trbojevic, I reckon Manly will do better. I mean, yes, Manly have only got like a 30% record when Tavo's not playing, but obviously I reckon this will be Manly's year. With the additional Luke Brooks, I think they will improve greatly, and I think everyone in the starting 117 will improve as well. Cherry Evans will be at the top of his game as always. So I've got Manly coming in at 7th. Now the next team I've got finishing in 6th place, who did not make the top 8 last year and was one of the more disappointing teams to watch in 2023. I've got the North Queensland Cowboys coming in at 6th place. Now, the Cowboys were only just a win off making the top 8. They finished in 11th last year. They made the top 4 in 2022. And disappointing year last year, but they also had that six game winning streak in the mid part of the season, which included beating the Tigers 74-0 after they were humiliated by the Tigers weeks beforehand, and they lost 66-18 at Leichhardt Oval, which was supposed to be the last game there, but it is obviously not. But Cowboys, I reckon they're going to improve. I mean, Scotty Drinkwater had one of his best seasons, or potentially his best season last year. I think he's going to be the next New South Wales fullback if Teddy does not play. State of Origin 2024. But for what he did with the Cowboys last year, I reckon he's going to be doing a lot better. I mean, you got Semi Valmy, who's a try scoring machine, Valentine Holmes. You got the likes of Jason Taumalolo, Hemi Lukey, I mean, you got so many players. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I reckon overall, the Cowboys will do a lot better in 2024. I've got them finishing in 6th place. Now, coming in at 5th place, this is the team I reckon will just miss out on the top 4. This team had a sensational year in 2023. They finished in 15th in 2022. They finished in 4th place, returned to New Zealand for a full season for the first time ever, and they got a new nickname called the Wars. I am talking about the New Zealand Warriors, finishing in 5th place. Now, I reckon they would just miss out on finishing the top 4, but I will not be surprised if they do make it. Now, they're pretty much just like the Cowboys in this situation. They made the top 4 this year. Can they do the same thing in 2024? Now, the thing is, I don't believe in second-year syndromes, but I hope it does not happen. But the Warriors have recruited potentially their greatest player ever, at least in the last decade. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck returns after he last played in 2021. He returns to the Warriors after playing Union, but didn't go out well. Charles Harris-Tavita returns from his hiatus, and to a shocking surprise, Kurt Capewell from the Broncos is going there as well. He will bring experience. Where they're going to put him is going to be interesting. I think they'll probably put him on the second row along with Jackson Ford, and Marani Okore will go to the bench. I have no clue, but we have to wait and see. Now, obviously, they've lost Josh Curran, who is an amazing player for the Warriors. That is a huge loss. Also, Sean Johnson and Afanua Blake. They were 2 of the best players in their squad last year. And obviously, with the stuff behind Afanua Blake, now he will be going to the Sharks in 2025 onwards. And Sean Johnson, this is potentially his last ever year as well. I don't think he will do the same thing like he did in 2023, but I could be wrong. You never know. So, Warriors, I reckon they're going to be in for another great year. Now, they're usually the unpredictable team, but not this time. Someone else has a different team. Another team has that moniker, and I'm not going to mention it, but I think you can tell who it is. So I've got the Warriors finishing in 5th. Now we move on to the top 4. These are the 4 teams in order who I think will finish in the top 4 for 2024. Now, obviously, coming in at 4th place, I have my boys, the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Now, obviously, last year we didn't make the top 8. We had a disastrous second year with Latrell Mitchell being injured, many other injuries as well that plagued the team. Origin, up to round 11, we were doing sensational. We won 6 in a row, and we came first after beating the Tigers in round 11 last year, and then after that it went downhill. Now, obviously, there was stuff and drama behind the scene with Sam Burgess leaving the club, and one of our assistant coaches as well, which Sam Burgess has gone to Super League to coach the Warrington Wolves now. Now, obviously, I believe in my boys. I've got to back them to obviously make the top 8, but I hope we can make it. Top 4, I reckon we can make it with the squad. We've got Jack White and Sean Kepi as our 2 only signings, really. And the only big loss we have is Hame Saleh. He's going back to the Dragons now. But I reckon this is our year to prove that we belong in the top 8. If we don't finish 6th or higher, and then I reckon Jason Demetrio, who just signed a new contract as well till 2026, I think he's going to be let go from the club, and that's just being honest. But I got to believe in my boys no matter what. So I reckon we will finish 4th in 2024. Coming in at 3rd place is a team that surprised us all. They missed out on the top 8 in 2023. 2022, finishing in from the top 4 and falling out in the last 4 rounds. I am talking about the Brisbane Broncos, who should have won the grand final last year, but they let Panthers come back by 16 points to win 26-24. Now, obviously, I'm a bit skeptical with this one. But Broncos, they're a sensational club. They are the best Queensland club in the NRL and one of the top clubs of the NRL as well, no doubt. Great fan base. Now, obviously, they have lost Herbie Farmworth and Thomas Flegler. A lot of experience gone, but I reckon they can recover it well. Who they're going to put in there, I have no clue. I mean, they could have Jesse Arthurs on the wing and Colbo going to the centres and Corey Oates to the other wing, or Dean Mariner, who knows. But I reckon I reckon the Broncos are going to be in for another great year. Kevin Walters, he's been a great coach since he's been there in 2021. He's put the club back up to a new level as well. So Broncos are a threat to look out. I've got them finishing in third in 2024. Coming in second place, obviously this team is going to be up there, but this will be this certain coach, hopefully final season. We said it last year, but that wasn't the case. I'm talking about the Melbourne Storm, who somehow still make the top 4 despite losing a lot of experience, and Craig Bellamy, we don't know when he's going to go. But the Storm, they're not a threatening team that much anymore, but they're still a team that can still somehow make the top 8 despite losing a lot of experience in recent years. So I've got Storm finishing in second, and obviously coming in at first, it's going to be the Penrith Panthers. I mean, who's honestly going to finish in first place other than the Panthers? I mean, there are the teams that I mentioned as well, like the Storm, Broncos, or Rabbits could get first, or even the Warriors, but I don't see anyone getting the Penrith this year. But when I get to my finals, I'll talk about the Penrith there. I mean, Panthers, they're losing. They lost Stephen Crichton, for goodness sake, and Jack Cogger, their backup halfback, when Nathan Cleary goes to play for the Blues, and obviously Cleary is the best halfback at the moment in the NRL and potentially the best player as well in the whole NRL. But I've got Panthers finishing as minor premiers of 2024, and that will conclude my ladder, so we'll go through it again. So Wooden Spooners 17th, Dragons 16th, Tigers, Raiders 15th, Bulldogs 14th, Titans 13th, Sharks 12th, Dolphins 11th, Eels 10th, Roosters 9th. That's my bottom 9. And for my top 8, 8th place, Knights, Manly 7th, Cowboys 6th, Warriors 5th, Rabbitohs 4th, Broncos 3rd, Storm 2nd, and Panthers 1st. Now my top 8. Now, obviously, first one will be Panthers and the Bunnies. Now, I reckon, obviously, Panthers have won more finals games against us. I think it's 2-1 at the moment. No, it's actually 3-1. Wait. Yeah, 3-1, because Panthers have beaten us in the preliminary final in 2020-22. We beat them in the qualifying final in 21 and lost in the grand final in 2021 to them. For this game, I don't want to say this, but I reckon Penrith will win this one, and we will advance to week 2. As for the 5th versus 8th, I've got the Warriors and the Knights. Now, Warriors killed the Knights in the second week of the semi-finals last year and break their winning streak. Warriors will win that one in New Zealand, I think in a close game. And they will play the Rabbits at Accor Stadium. Now, 6th versus 7th, got Cowboys versus Manly. This one will be up in Queensland, up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. I reckon Cowboys will win this one in a tight game. And for 2nd versus 3rd, obviously it's Melbourne and Brisbane. This will be played in Melbourne. Although they got the win this time against in Brisbane, I reckon they're going to do the same thing again. I reckon the Broncos will defeat the Storm at Amy Park and will advance to the preliminary final. So for the semi-finals, I've got the Rabbitohs versus the Warriors at a core. I will obviously go the Rabbits in a close contest to win, and they will play the Broncos in the preliminary final. And as for the other game, Cowboys and Melbourne. I'm actually going to go for an upset here. I'm going to go the Cowboys to win this one in a tight game and to beat the Storm in Melbourne as well. So it means I've got Panthers and Cowboys, and I've got the Rabbitohs, Broncos, and the Rabbits in the in the preliminary final, the first preliminary final game. So it's going to be the Cowboys and the Panthers. As much as I don't want this to happen, I think Panthers will make the grand final again for a 5th consecutive season. So they will beat the Cowboys in a close contest. And as for the other preliminary final, the Broncos and the Rabbitohs. Now these two have close games in recent times, but I just can't go past the Broncos, unfortunately. So I've got to go the Broncos to win this one. Sorry, Rabbits. As much as I want them to make the grand final and the team we've got, I reckon we won't make the grand final. So I reckon it's going to be a repeat grand final of 2023, but with a roles reversal. Broncos to win by 4 points in a close game, 18-14, to beat the Panthers and break the 3-peat premiership. And the Broncos to win their 7th premiership, the first one since 2006. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes my 2024 NRL Ladder Prediction video. This one was quite tough, and this was my personal opinion. It was very tough who I think will finish in each spot. Hopefully I'll get some correct. I only got one correct last year, and that was the Sharks for finishing 6th. And there was a lot of horrible ones like the Dogs, Cowboys, and the Bunnies. But other than that, like I said, this is my personal opinion. If you agree or disagree with where I place your team, comment down below and give me your thoughts of what my ladder, if you think it was well planned or not. Obviously, I'm not the best at explaining, but I did the best research that I could do. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We are on the road to 1,400 subscribers. We are under 4 weeks away from the pre-season challenge, and just about 45 days away or so from the NRL season kicking off. Now, I will be posting more content very soon. I'll be doing a Super League ladder prediction as well, and that'll be like in about a week from now. So sometime next week, I will have my Super League ladder out as well. But with that out of the way, thanks for watching this video, guys, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Take care.